Hello everyone, and welcome to Edison TV. My name is Aaron Atkar, and I'm a healthcare analyst at Edison. We're joined today by Antti Vuolanto, CEO at Herantis Pharma. Herantis is a Finland-based clinical stage biotech focused on developing disease-modifying therapies for Parkinson's disease. Welcome, Antti.
Thank you.
So to get started, for those less familiar, can you briefly introduce yourself, your background, and what drew you to Herantis?
Yeah, thanks. So as said, my name is Antti Vuolanto. I'm the CEO of Herantis. I've been with the company for over 7 years, 3 years as a CEO. Before that, I was Chief Operating Officer. Before joining Herantis, I actually spent 10 years in immuno-oncology, so especially in the oncolytic virus space. I'm an engineer by background, so during my pharma career, I've been dealing with the CMC, preclinical, also clinical studies, but the past 10 years more on the business partnering side, developing organizations. And I have to admit that I have really much enjoyed the journey in small biotechs, having different hats, and always every day is very different from any other day. So it's really nice, and I'm so enthusiastic in being in this position.
Excellent. So we're excited to follow the progress of your lead candidates, HER-096, but we understand that the story really starts with the preceding candidate, CDNF. So could you give us an overview of how the CDNF program transitioned into the current HER-096 program?
Yes, so actually the foundation of Herantis originally 2008 was based on the discovery of CDNF, or cerebral dopamine neurotrophic factor, by Helsinki University. And Herantis was originally a spin-out company from the university. And the company took CDNF from through preclinical studies. We got great preclinical data, for example, in non-human primate studies demonstrating regeneration of neurons. Then we did a clinical study with CDNF in fairly advanced Parkinson's patients. And we also saw very nice data there. So we had a couple patients with clear clinical benefits. We saw biological improvements. However, the challenge was that as a protein, CDNF had to be administered intracranially. And while we discussed with the pharma about commercialization, it came pretty evident that the intracranial administration in an indication with more than 10 million people suffering from that, it's not a very easy equation. So that, in a way, provided us a rationale to find out other molecules where we could have the same mechanism of action. And we ended up with HER-096, which is actually a mimic of CDNF active site. And that's in a way the link between the current lead asset HER-096 and the origin of the company with CDNF.
Okay, so HER-096, the lead program now. How has it fended in the clinic to date? What's the current status and what are the next steps?
Yeah, so with HER-096, the main objective was to have a compound that can enter the brain after peripheral administration. And of course, the first step in the process was to ensure that we have the same activity, same mechanism of action, which we have pretty nicely demonstrated in preclinical settings. And now we have HER-096 in phase 1b clinical study, first time in Parkinson's patients. And in this study, the Parkinson's patients will get 8 administrations within 4 weeks of treatment. And of course, this is mainly a safety study, but we also have biomarker endpoints included in the study. Of course, the main objective is to establish the setup, the safety and administration setup for a phase 2 clinical study. And previously, we have completed a phase 1a clinical study in which we demonstrated nice safety profile and the blood-brain barrier penetration. So subcutaneous administration of HER96 delivers HER96 into the brain tissue in a concentration that we have shown in preclinical settings to be pharmacologically active.
Excellent. So it's encouraging to see that the company's approach has received recognition from numerous external groups. So could you summarize these for us, touch upon how they've supported your current financial position?
Yes, so absolutely, for a small biotech company, external validation is extremely important. Last year, in July, we announced collaboration and partnership with the Michael J. Fox Foundation and Parkinson's UK Virtual Biotech Program. And they are actually financing our phase 1b clinical study and some additional biomarker exploration work that we do. Of course, extremely important, as they are maybe the best experts in the Parkinson's field globally. In addition to that, we also have a project together with European Innovation Council, and they have supported us with 2.5 million euros for a preparation for the phase 2 clinical study. So I think we have been very successful with, let's say, pharmaceutical industry collaboration, and of course the next objective of the company is to expand that to pharma partnership.
Excellent. So taking a step back now, can you give us an overview of the current standard of care for Parkinson's disease and then the commercial potential of a disease modifier?
Yeah, so basically Parkinson's disease is a disease of degeneration and loss of dopaminergic neurons in the midbrain. And the hallmark of the current treatment is dopamine replacement therapy. So basically compensating the loss of dopamine in the midbrain. And that is done by administration of levodopa normally with some additional therapies that in a way strengthen the action of levodopa. So the idea is to keep the right amount of dopamine in the midbrain. However, that comes with several side effects, and eventually, as the disease progresses, the efficacy also tends to decrease. So basically, currently, none of the current treatments can stop or slow down the progression of the disease. The current market size for pharmaceuticals for Parkinson's disease is around $5 billion, and it's estimated that until 2030 it will maybe double, so being around $10 billion. But it can also be higher in case a new efficient disease-modifying therapies will enter the market, as there is a really high unmet clinical need. As I already mentioned earlier, there are 10 million people suffering from Parkinson's disease, and all of those are in a way untreated, at least at some point of time when the disease progresses. So there is a huge unmet clinical need, and we definitely hope to be one of the pioneers in this market.
So to wrap up for us now, can you summarize the key catalysts and milestones that investors should watch out for across the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, so basically we are currently running the phase 1b clinical study, so the first exposure of HER96 into Parkinson's patients. The readout is in September this year, so it's only a couple of months ahead. And should the data be strong, I strongly believe that we have a nice opportunity for either creation of a partnership with pharma or attracting more international investors to support us going forward. And of course, then the next important step is to start the phase 2 clinical study, maybe towards the end of 2026. And then, of course, in phase 2 study, the primary objective is to demonstrate the proof of concept of the study, so efficacy in Parkinson's patients. So basically, these are the main milestones going forward during this year and next year.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much, Antti, for the insightful discussion. Certainly looking forward to following the progress of Herantis. For more information, we direct our audience either to the company's websites and keep an eye out on the Edison website where we plan to publish our initiation of coverage notes in May. So thanks again for your time today, Antti.